Continue with the next single crochet, leave the starting yarn tail aside since we don't need to deal with it anymore, and this other yarn will continue to be hidden later. Press and pinch it onto the ring. Start crocheting the single crochet from this side of the bead string. Also make 11 single crochets. While crocheting, always keep this long 4-strand yarn behind the work. Alright, after finishing the 11 stitches, push them together a bit. Then move to the part below here. This yarn right here. Pull it a little and tidy it up. Make it look more centered and neat. Alright, next wheel. Work a single crochet into the chain space of the next petal. To attach the motif to the ring. Pass through this hole. And make a single crochet. Just like at the beginning, this petal is now secured to the ring. Then make 11 single crochets. String 1 bead, then 11 single crochets to connect to the next petal. Let me demonstrate again. This yarn should always be hidden at the back. Hold it down, and make a single crochet. After finishing the 11 single crochets, add a stitch marker and pause. Then tidy this area up first. Yes, make it tighter. The thread at the back. If there's any part that hasn't been smoothed out, pull it to make it flat. Then bring it to the front. Switch to the beading needle. First string 1 pearl. Then string 1 round bead. Then go through from the back. Between the 2 threads of this front post double crochet, following along this thread. Then pass it to the back. After passing through, you can see the spot we mentioned before. Between the 2 horizontal lines and the vertical line. Come out. Mindful not to tie a knot. After passing through. From the wrong side. Pass it back through the holes of these 2 beads again. Then remove the needle. Tidy it up. Alright, like this. The bead in this gap is also threaded, then continue with single crochets. When crocheting, keep this thread pressed at the back. After completing the 11 single crochets on this side, tidy it up as well. Then connect to the next petal below. Alright, the connection of each petal at the back and the middle bead string are done in the same way, so I won't repeat the demonstration. Everyone, please secure this round first. Crochet all the way around, back to the starting position. Join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet stitch. Pull tight. Then chain 1. Cut the yarn, leaving a slightly longer tail. Then let's handle the yarn tails at the back. Here I'll use a different sample to demonstrate weaving in ends, because this color is slightly lighter and easier to see. These two yarn ends belong to the same thread used for threading beads. One was reserved at the beginning, and the other is left after completing the round with beads, with some distance in between. Then we first take the end that's left over, thread it to the front, and meet with the section reserved earlier. Since there's a plastic ring inside, it's not very easy to thread directly, so you can slide it left and right. Let's thread it through. It will be easier to pass through this way. After it comes out and meets the other end at the front. First tie 2 knots to secure it. Once it's secured, hide both yarn tails into the back of the petal pattern underneath. Thread one yarn tail onto a sewing needle. Then first bring it down a bit. Follow the texture at the back and go down all the way. There's no fixed position for this. Just look for a spot at the back where it can go through smoothly, and lie flat, all the way to the bottom. Then when you reach the bottom, it will look like this. Just like we did with the previous yarn tail, hide it on the wrong side. And there won't be many visible marks here either. The front side also shows no marks, so this yarn tail is now hidden. Then do the same for the other side. First bring it down to the bottom. Then pick up the back texture. Keep weaving it down all the way. These two yarn tails are now hidden. Then the last one. The yarn tail for breaking off is done the same way. First bring it to the side. Here is the stitch behind the single crochet. Bring it to the back and tuck it under. Pull tight, and then bring it down below to this petal position. And just like the second yarn tail, the path is almost the same. Weave it through the texture all the way to the back. Then hide it underneath. Alright, tidy it up. Make the marks less noticeable. So the yarn tails are all hidden, and this starting part has already had a few stitches hidden, just cut those off directly. Once the yarn tails are handled, this circular part is complete, like this. Here you can manually adjust it a bit to make it flat. In summary, each petal is connected to the plastic ring with a chain space, and a single crochet. After connecting two petals, first work 11 single crochets on the ring, then thread a bead, after the bead work another 11 single crochets, then use a single crochet to connect to the next petal. Like this, after connecting all around, hide the yarn tails using the method mentioned earlier. Next is to attach the accessories. First, make the hanging string. Take the same color yarn from round 6, and leave about 10 centimeters. Make a slip knot. Then start crocheting chain stitches, a total of 60 chains. After completing 60 chain stitches, leave about 10 centimeters of yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Then, thread one side of the yarn through the bead needle. First, string a round bead. Then switch to the other side of the yarn. Thread both sides through the round bead. Once they're both through, these two strands are both 8-ply yarn. Now we'll divide them into 3-ply and 5-ply strands. So one side will be 3-ply, and the other side will be 5-ply. Do the same with the other strand. After dividing both strands, take those two 5-ply strands, and tie a simple knot with them off to the side. This helps prevent pulling the wrong thread when threading beads later. Just tie a knot and set them aside, then take the two 3-ply strands together. Thread them through the bead needle. Then thread a large purl first. Followed by a round bead. Then remove one side's 3-ply strand. The side that's left, threads through earlier. Connecting to the stitch below, that's the single crochet stitch, where we did the slip stitch join, meaning it goes through the first single crochet stitch. The slip stitch we made earlier in the first single crochet stitch goes through that very first stitch. Then remove the hook. Pull tight here, tie a knot, and secure it in place. Just tie 3 knots will do. Alright, after securing these two yarn tails, need to be threaded back through one by one. The same method applies to this side too. Thread them back through the top. Once both strands are threaded through, you can trim them off directly. As for the two extra 5-ply strands here earlier, just cut them off right next to the edge. Like this, the hanging loop is installed. Now we'll make the pendants on both sides. Before securing the ring just now, we pulled out 4 single strands. Now we take one of them, fold it in half, divide it into 2 parts. Then fold this side in half again. So this one thread now becomes a 2-strand thread. Thread this 2-strand strand through the beading needle. First thread on a glass leaf bead. Then take the other side. The yarn tail is also added into the beading needle. Then thread them through one by one. A wheel bead. A round bead. A pearl. Then take a motif 2. Flatten it out a bit. Then choose a petal. On its last round, in this chain space, we originally made 3 single crochets, and now we'll go through the middle single crochet. Thread a strand through the stitch of the middle single crochet. Release one side of the thread. Then thread it through. Then release the other side as well. Tie a knot to secure it. Two or three knots are both fine. Three knots will be more secure. Once it's secured, thread the beading needle, string this yarn. Follow through the beads. And thread it back. Tidy it up. Then simply cut off the excess here. After cutting off the yarn tail, it will look like this. Then take another piece from the remaining half, and fold it in half as well, creating a strand with 2 strands of yarn. You can either cut this end or leave it, it doesn't really matter. Cutting it off is also fine. First, thread one end through the motif, right through the middle of the 3 single crochet stitches on this side, go through the SC stitch. Then bring in the other side as well, using the beading needle. And thread through one by one. Pearls. Round beads. Round beads. Then take this end. Pull out half of the strands. Then take the ring we had earlier from the petal that has the hanging string attached. Align with the petal directly facing it. Next to it, the pendant on both sides is attached to the petals on either side of the center petal. Let's start from this side. Right from this petal. Thread through the stitch of a single crochet that connects it. This stitch is the single crochet, where the ring and the petal are connected. Pass through it. Remove the thread and take out the needle. Then tie a knot here to secure it. When tying the knot, be careful not to pull it too tight. Normally, if you tighten it, it would be like this. Tightened, so the pearl and the bead are completely closed to the ring. This way, it won't easily hang down, but will stick out like this. So don't pull it too tight here, just slightly loose, allowing it to hang naturally. But when tying the knot, you still need to tie it tightly, secure it with 3 knots. After tying the knots, it will look like this. 3 knots tied tightly, but the bead isn't pulled all the way up tight. Leave a little space so it can hang naturally. Just like this state, then take the yarn tail and tuck it in. Tidy it up, and move that knot inside the bead. That way, the knot won't show on the outside. Like this, and then you can cut it off. Cut off the yarn tail, and then press the motif flat. So one side of the pendant is done. The installation method for the other side is exactly the same. The position is on this petal here. The one connected to the circular ring. Into this single crochet stitch. Right into this stitch. Just at this position. This exact stitch. The method is the same, so I won't repeat the demonstration. Everyone, please complete the installation on this side as well. Once both sides are installed, it should look like this. Now we're going to make the bell part, starting by connecting the lower motif pendant. This is the previously crocheted motif 3. Now we need to string the motifs together using beads. The connecting order of these 3 motifs can follow the sample, or you can connect them in any order you prefer. Let's take one of the motifs first. And here, a line segment has already been left, coming out from the middle of the double crochet stitch above. We'll thread it through using a beading needle. Then thread a bead onto the string. Next, take the motif that it needs to connect with. Keep the end with the line segment facing upward, and align the petal facing down with the petal below. Pass through the stitch of this double crochet. And at the same time, thread back through the pearl. Then thread back again. Where did this thread come out from? And where should it go back through? It comes out from this stitch. It came out from the middle of this stitch, and we'll thread it back through the middle of the same stitch. Then thread it back through, where it came up. Pick up the horizontal thread it was just threaded through. Thread it back in that direction. Once it's threaded back, it meets the remaining thread, then tie a knot to secure it. Tidy it up a bit. Then tie 2 knots to secure it well. Once it's secured, these 2 yarn tails can be sewn to the back side using a tapestry needle. The other side is done the same way. Once hidden, you can simply cut it off. That's how 2 motif 3s are connected. Then for the top motif, use the same method to connect the third motif 3. I won't repeat the demonstration here, just follow the previous method to connect these 2 motifs. Once the 3 motif 3s are connected, you need to attach 1 motif 2. The method is the same, using this reserved yarn. Thread a bead onto the yarn. Then pass through this motif 2 through one of its petals. Right here, the middle single crochet stitch of the 3 single crochets. Then, thread the bead back onto the yarn. And go back through motif 3. Next, just like when connecting the small motifs earlier, tie a knot to secure it, then weave in the yarn tail. Once everything is connected, it will look like this, and we'll set it aside for now. Next, we'll take the same color yarn from round 6 of motif 1. Then, leave about 15 centimeters or so. Make a slip knot. Then crochet 4 chain stitches. Leave about 15 centimeters and then break the yarn. Then thread the stringing needle. Thread through 3 purls in order. One will bead. 1 round bead. Another will bead. And another purl. Then take the yarn on this side. Split it in half. Divide it into 2 strands of 4 plies each. After sewing, thread one side through the stringing needle. Then take the motif pendant from earlier, and go through one of the petals from this end. Pass through the stitch in the middle of the 3 single crochets. Then take the other side of the yarn. Tie a knot to secure it. Once it's secured, just like before, thread it back through the beads to hide the yarn tail. Thread it back one by one. The same goes for the other side with this thread. Once they're all threaded, tidy it up. Then cut it off. And for this end, thread it through the stringing needle as well. Then start by threading 1 purl. After the purl is threaded, split this thread in half, 4 plies on each side. Once divided, start by tying 8 small knots. Tie a total of 8 knots like this. Once the 8 knots are done, create a slightly bigger knot after this small string of knots. It was a small knot like this, then we wrap it once more. Wrap it again, and if you feel it's still not enough, you can wrap it one more time. I'll wrap it twice here, then slowly pull it downward. Put a finger inside to keep it from curling upward. Pull it downward like this, horizontally. Eventually shape it into a knot like this. A slightly bigger knot positioned horizontally. Like this. After completing 8 small knots and 1 big knot like this, take both of these threads and thread them through the beading needle. Then pass it through one end of the bell. Pull the yarn over. After pulling it over, insert the needle through one by one, a purl, a wheel bead, a round bead, then another wheel bead, another purl, okay, right here. This is the position where we made the bigger knot earlier, and it blocks the purl from sliding down, keeping it in place. We also leave a small gap here so the bell can shake better and make noise. Once this section is done, gently pull one side of the thread to tighten. Then take the main piece and secure it in the middle of these 2 stitches. On this petal, at the single crochet stitch, where we connected the plastic ring, this single crochet stitch right here, it's stitch. Bring the thread over. Then remove the needle. Tie a knot to secure it here. Just 3 knots will do. Once the knots are secured, these 2 yarn tails will be handled the same way. Thread them through a beading needle and tuck them back into the beads to hide them. Separate them and hide one by one. If you try to go through with both threads together, it might not fit. The other side is done the same way. Thread it through, tidy it up, and then cut it close to the edge. Then we'll tidy up the edges around it. Pull it flat. Like this. The entire wind chime is now complete. That's all for this design.